Yeah, that was a little dark. Hey, round up, homies. What's going down? Greetings, class. Greetings, class. Good Lord, if y'all had any idea how much effort it takes to bring this stuff to you and be dad and be husband and deal with the baby and the dog. Pray for me. Pray for me. Rounduppers, thank you for joining us. Thank you, class. This is going to be a good class. This is my favorite class to teach because I feel that either you're going to walk with the wealthy or you're not. Either you're going to walk with the wealthy or you're not. So you have chosen, you have made it a point in your life to understand how the wealthy move, right? You made it a point to understand how the wealthy move. I'm excited for you. Don't forget, Landlord's Guide to Section 8 Housing is out right now. Just go over to the website, krishaskins.com. You can pick that up. And as we are training here today, you can use the coupon code TRUST. Use the coupon code, or coupon as my dad would say, code TRUST to download your docs, and you can follow along with us. I want to make sure you understand this thing 100% after you finish this training today. There will be no questions, but you'll understand how to buy a house without putting the house in your name, or if you're putting, I don't even want it in your company name. And please get your question. My favorite part of these trainings is Q&A. It will be, put your questions in the box over there. And if you don't attend this live, just put your questions in the comments below and we'll get to them as fast as we can, okay? Round up, greetings. My name is Kris Haskins, and my ministry is to raise your financial literacy through real estate investing and entrepreneurship. I couldn't spell entrepreneur until I turned 40, so I want to be transparent with you. I didn't even know what an entrepreneur was, right? I've heard of the word, but now I get to actually share this stuff with you because I want you to succeed. I want you to succeed. So I'm going to give you half off today only. That discount ends today, right? Today. Don't be emailing me tomorrow trying to get the discount tomorrow. I do this because I care about you and I love the people that support me. They follow my content, and I'm going to keep giving to you. So you're here because you want to learn about this stuff, this crazy stuff you heard about a trust, because you don't want to have a house in your name, right? So I want you to repeat after me as we start with our training. This is not hard, Kris. This is not hard. The only reason it appears to be hard is because I do not yet understand. Let me repeat that. Kris, this is not hard. This is actually simple. The only reason it appears to be hard is because I do not understand. So just take your hand and change your mind right there. And before, so much stuff I could talk to you about. Listen, guys, there's more money in the system than you can ever borrow, okay? I just want you to remember that there's more money out there, okay? I met with a wonderful couple here for coffee about a few hours ago. talking to them about the financing that's out there. Round up, there's way more money in the system waiting for you to show up and borrow it. The system is waiting for the person, which is you, to show up, right? System ain't gonna give you no money if you don't show up the right person with a plan, a strategy. You got your resources together. You read all the books. You know income, outcome. You know what? If you have to be the CEO, CFO, COO, CCO, you got to be all that stuff if you're a solo entrepreneur at first, right? So just remember, you're gonna have to work on yourself. No more important product in the world other than yourself, which is what you're doing now. You're making yourself, you're sharpening yourself, okay? So before we get to this, all this moving parts here, I love it. So much moving parts here. We got 1, 2, 3 parts to the trust. It's 4, but I like to kind of, you know how us speakers like to do. We like to keep it down to 3 if we can. Keep everything in the realm of 3. So the trust has 3 moving parts. 3 moving parts. Remember that. It's just so simple. 3 moving parts. All it is black ink on white paper. So we're talking about land trust, how to put your property in a trust and keep it out of your name or your company name. So let's first of all get your Barron's book. Gotta have a playbook, right? I love having definitions. I love definitions. I'm so in love with words. Make sure you get your questions in the box over there. We'll answer all that stuff at the end. Q&A, my favorite part of the day. Thought I had bookmarked the page, but I guess I didn't. Oh, there it is. What is a trust? Round up. What is a trust? So after you're done with this, and let me remind you that you're not going to get this on the first time. It's going to take some time for it to sink in. The reason it comes so smoothly to me because I've bought dozens and dozens of houses inside of a trust, and I bought them in my name, and I bought them in my company name. So make sure you take the right advice from the right people, all right? You won't get this at first. You'll hear it a few times, and then you'll go back to putting it in your name because you'll say, you know what, this is easy. I just put it in my name and it's over. But why do we do this? Why do we not want a house in your name? Because any creditor or predator, I'm dealing with a situation now where a house was transferred into a gentleman's name. Guy had $60,000 to $80,000 in back child support. And as I was putting this course together for you, I didn't think about all the bad you can do with this stuff by not putting houses in your name. Fellas, if you owe child support, if you owe $1 million in child support, don't use this to get around your obligations, right? Because you can buy and sell houses all you want. If you don't put them in your name and you owe child support, don't use this as a tool for, come in, Bo. Don't use this as a tool for the bad. Use it for the good. What you got? Put that back. Good job. Hey, if you want to bring your bracelets in here while I'm broadcasting, you can. I can go. You can do a commercial for you. Bubba, y'all know Bubba has her bracelets. This little entrepreneur is doing some amazing stuff. Why do we want to do this? Keep you off of record. And I want your company off of record. I have clients call me all the time. Kris, I got a judgment coming down the pipeline. Kris, I've got some creditor coming after me, looking for me, right? If nothing is in your name, then they cannot attach any judgments to the property. Let me repeat that. If the property is not in your name, then they cannot attach a judgment to the property. You can buy and sell. Even if you have an LLC, they can still go to the courthouse or the state house and find out who the registered agent is for that LLC, generally speaking. Now, if you're in a state that doesn't allow that, sometimes you can get around it. You want to do it real quick, Bub? What you got?
I have some new products.
Bubba got a bracelet for you, y'all. Sorry about that. Here you go. What you got?
I have some new products.
What are you selling here, Bub?
Bracelets.
Got your bracelets? Talk to the people. Okay. What's wrong with this thing?
Blurry.
Damn, why is it so blurry?
Wipe it. Wipe it.
Oh, there it is. Okay. What you got, B?
So I got some pink ones.
Those are the new colors you got?
Yes. And I have some other goldish bluish.
Different bracelets you're making?
Yes, different
Nice.
colors.
Okay.
And then I have some green.
These are new colors you're adding.
Yes. And I have some basketballs.
Oh, man. Then you got that. Then you got, oh, that's nice. And don't you have Black Panther and
Yeah,
different
I
stuff?
have Black Panther, and we have gold Black Panthers too. So yeah.
If you want your bracelet, what do? Order
from Bubba's Boutique.
Yep, it'll be at Instagram. And we'll give him a link here. All right. Anything else, Bubba?
Buy custom bracelets by Bubba's Boutique.
Sounds good. All right. Lord help me. Lord help me. Okay, we got that out of the way. Hit that dough. Round up kid entrepreneurs. Pour into your kids. You don't want them to be slaves working all their lives for the rest of their life. Okay, so teaching kids how to be entrepreneurs. Okay. Why do we want to do it? You know, I already went over that. Who is this for? Anybody that doesn't want to put a house in their name. Why would you want to put a 6 or 7 figure asset in your name? Makes no sense to me. And when should you do this? It's infinitely easier to do it before you buy the property as opposed to do it like me, scrambling. I own a few more houses in my name. Yes, I still haven't transferred them over, but that is one of the things that I'm working on. Once you buy the house in your name or your LLC name, it is infinitely harder to go back down there and record another deed, which I have done. I've got them out of my name, but round up, I'm telling you, do this from the beginning and you won't have to backtrack like I did. Get your bearings out. If you don't have your bearings, just go to krishaskins.com. There's a link there for you to order your bearings, all right? And go ahead and download use the coupon code TRUST. I'm giving you 50% off of my land trust docs, okay? Let's do this. What is a trust? Well, a trust is an agreement whereby property is transferred to a trusted third party, the trustee, by a grantor, which is you, the beneficiary. The trustee holds the property for the benefit of another, the beneficiary. Okay, let me repeat that. An arrangement whereby the property is transferred into the trust, transferred to a trusted third party, which will be your trustee. The trustee holds the property for the benefit of another, which is the beneficiary. You know what? You can see this diagram here means a lot, right? This is kind of how I break it down. I want you to kind of see it visual so you can see how this thing works. Now, who is the trustee? Definition: one who holds property in a trust for another to secure performance of an obligation. The neutral party in a trust deed transaction. So we've got 3 parts to the trust, right? Well, 4. Once again, I wanted to keep it simple. The house is really 1. We'll call that step 0.5, maybe. Your trust agreement. Number 1 is your trust agreement. That's going to be here. Number 2 is going to be your trustee. These are the moving parts to the land trust. Number 3 is going to be your beneficiary. Trust agreement, trustee, beneficiary. I'm telling you, all this stuff is simple. This takes a little time for it to sink in. Why? Because this is a new strategy for most of us, right? You're not born wanting to control everything but own nothing. We aren't born wanting to control everything but own nothing, right? We're born wanting to what? Mine. We want to own everything, right? There's a new concept. It's amazing how wealth and success is counterintuitive. It's counterintuitive. If you want to make money, you can't think about money, right? You have to think about value, then the money comes. You back yourself up into a bunch of value, the money's going to just drop from the sky. It's truly amazing. All right, let's keep going with our definitions. What is a beneficiary? Got a little P Diddy good and loud. Beneficiary is the person who receives or is to receive the benefits resulting from certain acts. Okay, so the trust agreement is going to be your document. We're going to go over all of that. Make sure you go down below. You can download it so you can go along with it with me. The trustee is the person that you are going to hire to facilitate all this stuff over here. And then you or your beneficiary, number 3, the beneficiary will be you or your LLC. And don't beat yourself up if you don't get all this at once. You can rewind. I will leave this one up for a while. And the beneficial interest in this trust is going to be the benefit resulting from ownership, from an ownership position or a contract. So your beneficial interest is what you own, being the beneficiary of this trust. Okay. Now, how does all this stuff come together? I know you got a lot of stuff swirling around in your head. I'm just remembering how many times I listened to different trainings to understand how trusts work. Almost like the pieces were slowly coming together. Like the first 2 years that I learned about them, I still didn't deploy them. I just didn't. I went back to my same old, I reverted back to my same old ways, putting houses in my name, putting them in my LLC, right? Just part of growing that resistance. Like, I don't want to put that in a trust. And still today, I know masters in the real estate business that still don't use trust. And it's okay, you don't have to. I just don't want your company on public record. So here's your house, right? 123 Easy Street. Generally speaking, what do? We put the deed, the ownership in our name or our LLC's name, right? So the good thing about a land trust is once the house goes into the trust is personal property and not real property. Let me repeat that. A land trust is personal property and not real property. So you can actually sell this trust to different people without even having to change the title, because you're selling personal property. It's almost like selling a book or selling a pair of shoes. It's personal property, round up, okay? So how does it work? The house goes into the trust. You are the beneficiary. You own the trust, okay? House goes into the trust. You're the beneficiary. You own the trust. You are the one that benefits from the ownership and any other income from owning this trust. Now, it just so happens that this trust owns a house, okay? Simple. I'm gonna let that sink in for a minute. So simple. We make it difficult, right? Land trust, simple is most simple thing to do in the book. House goes in the trust. You own the trust. See this little flow chart in the back now. Back the microphone up. Back that thing up a little bit. House goes in the trust. You own the trust. You do not own the house. The trust owns the house. I do not own the house. I own the trust that owns the house. That's the magic. That's the power. That's the beauty of dealing with land trusts. Because what happens when some predator sniffs around 123 Easy Street? What are they going to see? They are going to see a trust that owns that property, nothing to do with you, okay? So remember the golden rule. We control everything, but own nothing. And what you're going to get in this training here is you're going to get a sample copy of one of my deeds. I want you to see what the deed looks like, so you know what you're getting into when you buy this property. It's not going to say Kris House Buyers LLC. I don't want that on title. I want you as a ghost. I want you to be anonymous when you're out there in the streets. And you still got to get a bunch of insurance too. This does not take the place of insurance, right? Okay, so your trust agreement, we're going to go over that in a minute. Number two, let's start here from number two. So here's your trust agreement, right? Your trustee is almost like an employee of yours, right? Your trustee is kind of like an employee. So your trustee will go to closing for you. Sometimes I go, sometimes I do go because I have to bring the money. Your trustee is your employee. They sign all the docs at closing. They sign the HUD. They'll sign the deed if you're selling. They'll sign any disclosures. They'll sign the purchase and sale agreement. They'll sign for the loan paperwork. They'll sign for anything that is related to you acquiring this property. Now, the trustee better be a person you trust. Better be a person you trust. And I know you're saying, oh, Kris, I don't know. I don't have anybody that I would trust to buy and sell a property, because remember, your trustee can sell the property without your permission. They are operating on a fiduciary duty to act on your best interests, right? They're operating in a fiduciary duty to operate in your best interest. But let's say you have a trustee that goes rogue. They can sell the property without letting you know. So we have some ways to back out of that. I'm not going to get into that today, but just to deal with somebody you know. So you can be the trustee and the beneficiary. I don't want you to be, because it breaks the anonymity there, because your name is going to go on the deed, all right? Hold tight. Let me quiet this thing here. Blowing up. Good Lord. Round up. Your name goes in the deed. If you're the trustee's name goes on the deed. So let's see what I want to share with you is what a sample deed looks like. Go ahead and this is going to be in your land trust document packs, and use the coupon code TRUST in the video description below to download your documents. So let me show you what the deed looks like. This is what a deed. I'm going to share. Okay, here we go. Oops, I always messed that up. So this is just a house we did. I mean, this is just one of, I don't know how many houses. So we bought this one. This is, oops. Can y'all see? Did I even share the screen? Oh, yeah. This is a deed and bargain of sale made this 24th day of April by the seller there. Grantor, for the purposes of indexing, hereafter referred to grantor. And I don't want to put my trustee's name up there. Blank trustee of the 408 trust. Let me stay here for a minute. What do we call these trusts, right? Well, before I used to call them the last name of the, if you're doing a subject to, sometimes I'll call it the last name of the seller, like the Barnes Family Trust, just in case the lender goes snooping around in the title. It would appear to be that the trust that the current owner just transferred it into a trust, right? That's a little trick I learned back in the day. Then I used to call it, sometimes I would call it the street name trust. So let's just say it's, I don't know, Main Street. So this will be the Main Street Trust. Then my mentor said, you know what? I just put the address, street number. So now if you notice here, the grantee, which is us, this is the 408 Trust. What on earth is that? That is nothing but this property address number, the number of the house number, right? So when you're going looking, doing some search, say Chris, somebody's coming after Chris. We saw him on the internet. He's a YouTube guy. Guy's got a lot of money. Let's see if we can come after him with some frivolous stuff. And I promise you, I've got a lawsuit going on right now. I cannot wait to share with you this lawsuit that I'm dealing with. I'm quiet because I don't have all my chess players in the right position yet before I start talking about it. But you want to be as anonymous as you can when people do searches for you. So we name our trusts the street number trust. All right, you got that right there. So the grantor is your trustee, and then they're going to put trustee of the 408 trust. And the mailing address, yeah, how do you do that? Mailing address, we put down the trustee's mailing address, right? Well, Chris, what if your trustee tries to keep some of the mail? Find somebody you trust, y'all. Find somebody you trust. So this is a document that's going to come in your land trust doc pack, and you'll see. Oops, sorry about that. Remove. That document will come in your land trust doc pack, so you can kind of see what it looks like when you're doing these deals. I need you to know what does this stuff look like, right? What does it look like? Okay. I'll tell you, I've got so much technology going on here. I got to make sure. For some reason, my Facebook is not populating to my live streams, so we got to get questions there too. Facebook, if you're on here, make sure you put your questions in the Q&A. Now we'll put it in there. Oh boy, that baby is really, really. Preston has some really good lungs, y'all. Good God, dude can really scream. Okay, let's see what else we got. Is he okay? Whew. All right, so you saw the deed. You saw how the property gets into the land trust. House goes into this house here that we did. That says 408 Main Street. It went into the 408 Trust, right? And when you do that, the deed goes on public record. Nobody has any idea who the true owner of this property is. Who's getting the tax write-offs? Who's collecting rent? Who's going to get paid when you dispose of it from the dispositions? Who's writing checks regarding repairs? Who's collecting a down payment if you do a lease option or owner finance? Nobody knows. And that is where I want you to live, Roundup. I want you to live with anonymity. There's no reason for your business to be on the streets, because one day, I promise you, one day, if you keep building and building and playing the entrepreneurial game, you're going to get good at it. and eventually somebody is going to come after you. I promise you, I've been there. Frivolous lawsuits, they're thick too. You don't have to spend some money. The purpose of the land trust is not necessarily to protect your assets, because I'm not in the business of doing that. Let me make sure I preface this by saying I'm not an attorney, I'm not an accountant. I'm not giving you any legal advice. This is strictly for informational purposes, okay? I want you to make sure you take that as you receive this information. All right, so you got a trust agreement. You understand the trustee. The trustee is your employee. He or she is somebody that works for you. You can use a family member, but remember, the trustee's name will go on the deed, okay? So if you hire Joe Haskins and then Chris Haskins or Chris Haskins LLC is the beneficiary, might be some type of relation, and somebody might want to kind of do some sniffing around. But the main thing we want them to do is if they come after you, they have to have a conversation with their pocketbook to find you. All right. So you're not necessarily trying to hide from anybody. It's just going to cost some money for them to come after you. So if you come after the 408 trust, better believe you're going to spend some money to kind of get through that land trust to get through to me. All right. Because you got to go through the trustee. Then you got to find out who the LLC owner is. Then you're going to have to see if the LLC is been set up right. You're going to spend some money to come after your boy. Okay. And I want the same for you. You put your name on public record. Guess what? All the stuff you did in the past, bam, attaches right to the property. Should have brought him in here with me. All right, beneficiary. Always put him at the bottom. That's us or your LLC. The beneficiary is the one that benefits from all the proceeds from the trust. And that includes even if you're going to refinance the property, okay? So the beneficiary is behind this wall. You see this little dotted wall here? Because nobody knows who the beneficiary is other than the trustee. Let me repeat that. The only people that know who the beneficiary is your trustee and the closing agents. Because when you go to sell the property, they need to know who to make the check out to, right? So you're behind this wall here. No one knows who you are. You can buy and sell the property. The good thing about it is you can sell the property and keep that trust in place. It can stay in place. That means if I want to sell the 408 trust, if I want to sell it, I can sell it to somebody else, transfer my beneficial interest, and the house will still stay in that trust. You don't even have to change the deed, all right? And I know this is a lot of stuff going on, Roundup. A lot of stuff going on. Don't get mad if you're not understanding it all. It's going to take some time to sink in. Get your questions in the Q&A. Today, if you're just joining us, we got 120 people on here. If you're just joining us, we're talking about land trusts, keeping the property out of your name and out of your LLC's name, okay? So trustee, somebody you trust, or it could be you. I wouldn't do that. Or it could be a company you control. Then if you want to do that, I don't do that. Trust agreement. All right, so you got all the moving parts here. You're understanding how it works, okay? So let's go over the docs. Go ahead and bring up, we already saw the deed. You saw how that worked. Go ahead and bring up your land trust. The first document we're going to go over is going to be your land trust agreement. This is going to be your 7 to 9 page document. This is your trust agreement, okay? Your trust agreement. Trust agreement. Let's do this. Oh man, I love it. I love this stuff. This is my favorite stuff to do in the world. Your trust agreement. Go ahead and pull that up and download it. And you remember, Roundup, you cannot edit this from the internet. You have to download it to your computer in order to edit it. Okay. So the trust agreement. This is cool stuff here. Can this get any bigger? Let's see, 210. Nope. This is your trust agreement. This is the document that will stay in your file cabinet. No one needs to see this other than the closing company or the closing attorney, okay? I gotta repeat that. Nobody sees the trust agreement. The only thing that they will see is the deed that goes on public record. Okay, so keep this document in your file cabinet at home. No one needs to see this, okay? A lot of people think, well, darn, if I got the trust agreement, if I have to file that at the courthouse too? No, you do not. No, you don't, okay? So the first line, you or your company name. For us, we use our LLC as beneficiaries, right? Hereinafter collectively referred to as the beneficiary, whether one or more, which designation shall include all successors in interest of any beneficiary, just in case you die. or you want to move on, pass it on to somebody else. And your trustee, somebody you trust. And as trustee whose address is the trustee mailing address, hereinafter, trustee shall include all successor trustees. Sometimes you got to fire and hire a new trustee. So this trust here will cover you for that. And we're going to go over the successor trustee document. Sometimes you got to fire them. Not all relationships are meant to be forever, right? Number 1, declaration of trust. This trust created by the grantors herein shall be known as the street number trust, right? We're number 1, round up, follow along with us. Hereinafter referred to as the trust, okay? That's your trust agreement. This is what you're going to give to the title company so they can create the deed and the HUD, or I guess they call it a seller disclosure now. This is what you give the title company so they create the HUD for you and your deed, right? So you're done. The purpose of the trust is shall be to hold title to the trust property and to protect and conserve it until its sale or other disposition or liquidation. Number 5, duties and interest of beneficiaries. The persons named in the attached Exhibit B are the beneficiaries of this trust and as such shall be entitled to all earnings. Okay, and we'll get to that. I'm going to go over this thing and then I'll kind of circle back and go over some of this trust stuff. Letter A, the right to direct the trustee to convey or otherwise deal with the title. This is falling under duties of beneficiaries, okay? B, the right to participate in the management and the control of the property. C, the right to receive the proceeds and avails from the rental, sale, mortgage, or other disposition of the property. Okay, so we are the ones, the beneficiary. We are the ones that benefit monetarily with the money. 6, powers and duties of trustee. The trustee shall not record this agreement or the name of any of the beneficiaries in any place of public record, unless ordered by the court. Right? Now that could happen. But you know what? What I love, ordered by the court means somebody's going to spend some money to do that. They're going to get you to divulge who the beneficiaries are. They're going to have to spend some money on you. Letter A, the trustee, mortgaging. This is powers and duties of trustee. They can mortgage the whole or any part of the trust property, and they can also borrow money. This is important. They can mortgage the property or borrow money. The same thing, right? This is under the same category. So what does that mean for you? What does that mean, Roundup? Your trustee can go out there and refinance your property. So you got a property free and clear. They can go out there and refinance, borrow $50,000. And if they're real grimy, they can get the money. And they can sell your property, right? So you got to make sure you got your stuff. Somebody you trust. This is big. Trust, as I'm getting older, trust and integrity, honesty, it is just priceless. It's priceless. You know, when people trust you and they know you got integrity, they will do anything for you. They'll do anything for you, just like we do. I mean, like the businessmen that I work with, I say, listen, how much is something? 50,000, 40,000, 70,000. Okay. I mean, we're buying a house this week, 90,000. All right, let's do it. Ron tells me how much it is. I show up at closing. So round up, people you trust. If you don't trust anybody, get a better circle. Or you can hire us to be a trustee. I don't necessarily enjoy doing it. I will do it for you because I love you. It's a small fee, but I will be a trustee, and I'm out of state too. So if you don't have anybody you trust, we will be the trustee for you. All right. Trustee shall have the following powers with the consent of the beneficiaries, which is you, right? Are we back on here? Did I go back on? All right. 1, they can purchase any real property for the trust. That's when we put the property into the trust. 2, they can sell the property at public auction or private sale. They can barter or exchange or dispose of. We talked about that. 3, they can rent out or lease the whole or any part of the property, right? The trust property. Let me see here. Let me go back up here. Always mess this up. Make sure you follow along, y'all. Get your trust agreement there. Number 7, numero 7. Compensation of trustee. The beneficiaries jointly and severally agree that the trustee shall receive the sum of $100 one-time fee for his or her services under this trust agreement. What does that mean? That just means we're going to pay him $100, right? So we generally have a line item on the HUD where our trustee walks in, he gets his check, and he's done with it. Liability of trustee. All obligations incurred by the trustee hereunder shall be the obligations of the trust only and not the individual trustee. The trustee shall not be required to enter into any personal obligations or liability in dealing with the trust property. So basically, the trustee can go out there and get into $1 million lawsuit, and it doesn't have any bearing on the actual trust itself. He's operating, it says right here, no personal obligations. All right. He's operating in the capacity of the trustee for the trust. Number 9, removal of the trustee. The beneficiaries shall have the power to remove a trustee from his or her office or appoint a successor to succeed him or her at any time. Resignation of and successor. The trustee may resign the office within 30 days, written notice to the beneficiaries. So remember we said not every relationship that you have is forever, Roundup. It's just not. You got to keep that in mind. I'm just going over the highlighted parts that we need to cover today. You can go over this at your leisure and put you to sleep if you read some of it. Number 14, assignment. The interest of a beneficiary or any part of that interest may be transferred only by written assignment. And what you're going to get in this doc packet here is going to be something called the assignment of beneficial interest. That is where the document will allow you to sell your interest in the land trust, right? Let's see what else we got. Liability, we went over that. Liability of trustee, that covers that. The trustee shall have no individual liability or obligation whatsoever arising from his ownership as trustee of the legal title to the trust property. All right. 18, governing law. This agreement and all transactions contemplated hereby shall be governed by, construed, and enforced in accordance with the laws of the state of. Now, if you don't live in Virginia, just put your state. Well, y'all give me a hard time talking about, should I have it in Virginia? That's your state. Oh, okay. Okay, now last page, your name. Now what we do, I'm not recommending or suggesting anything. We sign the LLC. We sign our name, managing member for the LLC that I'm putting, that is the beneficiary, and the trustee. He's going to sign his name, comma, trustee. You see this, man, I'm telling you, those commas are big. See that comma right there? You better have it. For your trustee signs comma, because we're signing in the capacity of the member of this trust, right? So the beneficiary is the beneficiary in the capacity here is the owner of the trust. The trustee in the capacity here is nothing but the trustee for the trust and not Billy Madison personally, right? Exhibit A, subject property, legal description. You can fill that out. Exhibit B is just you and your company name. That's what goes on that one. Man, that was smooth, right? That was cool. We did that real good. Get your questions in for that chat box, y'all. Get your questions in. And Facebook, I'll get to you too. If your questions don't populate, then I'll pull them over. I'll go over and pull those too. So we just went over your trust agreement, right? That's the document you're going to turn in. Nobody else sees this document, okay? We're doing this because I want you to walk in the ways of the wealthy. And a lot of people wholesaling will say, Chris, well, do I have to do this when I'm only wholesaling the house? I'm not even going to buy it. Roundup. I use this 100% of the time, whether I'm wholesaling it, buying it owner financing with a loan subject to. 100% of the time I use trusts. Why? Because I had it come up. I had a client give me a call, Chris. I got somebody coming after me for specific performance. I couldn't wholesale the property. I couldn't find a buyer. Now they are coming after me because I didn't close on the deal. Remember, when you're wholesaling, generally speaking, a lot of times your seller thinks that you are the buyer. And you're just going to pass it off to another investor, right? What if you can't find that investor? So if you have your name or your company name on that contract, do you think somebody could come after you? The answer is yes, right? But if you have it in a trust, come after the trust. I remember one time I sold a property and the new owners didn't pay the taxes, right? So they tried to come after the old owners, which was us. I got a couple letters from the city saying, hey, you owe $900 in taxes. They sent it in the name of the trust. You owe these taxes, right? I got a few letters after that disappeared. They couldn't attach it to me because I never owned it. Kris Haskins, neither did Kris Haskins LLC ever own that property. Now, after you sell the property, right? After you sell it, that trust is dead. And it's just a pass-through entity. So anything taxes-wise or return-wise will go through to the beneficiary. Okay? So if you're thinking, well, I got to go get a tax ID for my trust, I got to get a state number. Yes, you could do all that, but you don't necessarily have to. What we do, it all passes through to the beneficiary. That beneficiary is going to be your EIN or your social security number, okay? So get your questions in, round up, and make sure you download your docs. You're getting a 50% discount off today only. It will end tonight, okay? So let's keep going with our docs. Go code here. Next doc I'm going to share with you is going to be your, what happens if your trustee, oh, okay, no, it's assignment of beneficial interest. All right, so this is what we were doing a lot of years back. Is it showing? Did a lot of this assignment of beneficial interest. What happened was there were tons of bank REOs between 2010 and I don't know, 14. There's still some bank REOs, but nothing like after the crash, which, by the way, there's another crash coming. All these loans that people are writing today, all it is, it's the same thing from 2004, 5, 6, 7. People borrowing a bunch of money over the next few years. Life is going to happen. Those loans are going to be delinquent. Then people like you and I are going to step in, scoop these loans up. Scoop those houses up subject to or however we're going to buy. So this is if we're going to transfer ownership in the trust. Okay, so let me bring this up here just in case. Remember, the trust ownership can be transferred at any time. You do have to holler at the IRS when you do that, though, but you don't have to change the deed, okay? So what does that look like? This is kind of like the standard assignment, but in this case, you're just transferring the beneficial interest, okay? This addendum made blank for the real estate sale of blank. Legal description, you know that, between the signor and the signee. The signer agrees to assign his rights and beneficial interest to purchase the attached contract. Now, this is if you're doing an assignment, right? For a fee of $5,000, payable as follows. You can read that. Signee agrees to pay $5,000. So you can you can sell your trust, y'all. Isn't that cool? You can sell your trust. So you're actually selling the beneficial interest. So the new owner steps in to your shoes here, to the new beneficiary. Let's say Kris Haskins was the original beneficiary. Joe Johnson, I'm going to sell my trust, which owns this house, right? I'm selling the trust, not the house. I'm selling the trust. Keep this in mind. So when I sell this trust with the beneficial interest, now Joe is the new beneficiary. He gets on down the street. I got my money. I'm gone, right? I'm gone. So you're transferring the beneficial interest over, not the house. The deed, the house still stays in the 408 trust, right? Isn't that cool? And just imagine you selling properties to and from your name. You can transfer it to your kids, to your wife, to a family member. It's so cool. Talk about what the wealthy do, right? Why wouldn't I want to live like the wealthy do? Why wouldn't I want to have the strategies of the wealthy instead of the broke? Okay. Oops. Messed that all up. We're going to do that. Our next document is going to be the appointment of land trust replacement trustee. Did I have that right? Replacement trustee. What are you going to do if your trustee goes rogue and he wants to sell your you need to get rid of him, right? You're like, listen, this dude is I don't know about this guy. Hopefully that won't happen, right? But under here, this is a document that you use to replace the current trustee and hire a new one, right? So you're going to put a new trustee in place. What's up with this thing? So the undersigned beneficiaries represent that they are all and 100% of the beneficiaries to that certain declaration of trust and land trust agreement dated blank, which is known as your trust, whatever it is. And they hereby replace current trustee and appoint new trustee whose address is blank. Okay, that's it. So simple. Simple stuff here. This is what you're going to do if you have to replace the trustee. Make sure you get it all notarized here. All right. And you don't even have to consult with the trustee to do it. You don't even have to speak to the trustee. You can fire him, hire him, and that's it. You got a new trustee here. So just in case, you might be saying, well, I don't know my trustee. You never know what they're going to do, which is true. You don't know what anybody's going to do. But here's the thing. All you can do is invest in highly probable events. That's all we can do. Is it probable that your trustee will go and try to sell your property? Is it probable that your trustee will try to go and refinance it and get some money on it? So hopefully you'll hire somebody that's trustworthy. Okay, the last document that we'll go over today is your warranty deed to trustee. Now, I do not want you out there creating documents. Give your land trust agreement to the attorney or title company. Let them do the deed for you, okay? This is going to save you a bunch of money having your own trust agreement, but let them create the deed for you, right? This is the warranty deed to trustee. This is the last document you will receive in the doc pack below. The deed is for good consideration made this day, year between blank hereinafter called the grantors and blank hereinafter called the trustee, right? This is what you use. This is just a template what you use. Sometimes when you buy the property in your name, right? It's so much harder to get it out of your name. So you can use this deed here. Legal description, property address, and notary. Boom. Simple stuff. Simple, simple, simple. And I know this may be a lot. I've had you for 45 minutes. I know it's a short period of time to be with you, but I just want you to remember, I may not get this all on the first time, so I may have to watch this a few times, okay? So listen, that's in a nutshell how these trusts work. Trust agreement, house goes into trust, trustee signs all the paperwork, they work for you, you're the beneficiary collecting the rents, getting paid when the property sells, getting paid if you refinance it, you get paid if you collect a down payment, option fee, land contract. The beneficiary is the one that benefits from this transaction. Good stuff, isn't it? So let's get to some Q&A. If you didn't already, go ahead and download my land trust document packet. It's going to be available. It will be for sale at this discount for the remainder of the day. Why? Because I love you. Let's see here. Round up, get your Q&A in so we can go over this stuff. I promise you, please, if you have a question, don't be scared to ask. There's a lot of people that have questions that sometimes they don't want to ask. Maria, you got your bearings. Good for you. I just bought the house in January. Can I do it after the fact? What about putting the house in my very responsible kid's name? You can't put in the house in their name? I don't know about that. I mean, I'm sure you could, but I would want to do a trust and make the kids the beneficiary if I had to use the kids. Round up, get your questions in. Please let me know where you're coming in from, too. We got Florida here. Atlanta, what up? ATL. Oh, Pastor Kenneth, that's who I just met. Yeah, good people, good people. Cali. What it do from Cali? What's good? Damar, you got so many vids on land trust. It's amazing. Make it simple. Praise God. Damar, I try to do that. It is challenging. Complicated stuff. One of my superpowers is to make this complicated stuff simple. That's right. The only reason it appears to be hard is because I don't yet understand it. Ricardo, not hard. The only reason it appears to be hard, I don't understand it. That's right. Oh, my brother's here. What's up, Ronnie? Good looking guy. Look at that smile. Nellie, get your questions in. Round up. This is my favorite part of the day. I get to answer questions. Nellie, having your own home in a land trust will still allow you to continue having the benefits of the homestead on the property taxes. By the way, have you put your own house in a land trust? I absolutely have. Nellie, I wish I would get the deed out. I guess I could get the deed out and show it to you. Yeah, I want me to. Nellie, if you're still here, I don't know. If y'all want to see my deed, I'll pull out my deed. I live in a house subject to in a trust, right? See, the homestead, I'm not an accountant, but let me tell you about when the IRS audited me. They saw all my houses in trusts, and the lady's like, "What is this trust stuff?" That doesn't mean you own the house. You're depreciating these houses. You're collecting rents. you're saying that you get to get all the tax benefits from the properties, but you don't own them. You know, your boy started to sweat Roundup, and I need to do that video on my audits. I've been audited twice. So I was nervous. I was nervous about, okay, I don't technically own them. How am I able to write off the interest and depreciate these houses, right? It's a big question. So I had to bring in my land. Now, that is one time I did have to show the IRS auditor that I was the beneficiary. That I had to show her my land trust agreement. So yes, I did have to do that. So Nelly, I don't know where you're coming from. Make sure on your tax returns that you can prove that if you live in the property, it's on that part of your tax returns. I'm not an accountant, but what I'm saying, if you get audited and the IRS wants to know homestead, you have that property. It won't be on Schedule E. It'll be in your personal home. Tamara, hey, beautiful. Oh yeah, my little girl. Yep, thank you so much. Edgar, I'm about to roll over money. I have a 401k. Good. From my previous job to a self-directed IRA. Congratulations. In this case, will I still be able to buy a house and put them in a trust? Now, Edgar, I don't know what the 401k has to do with the trust. The trust is nothing but ownership. All the trust does is allow you to own a piece of property in the trust and not in your name or your company name. That's all a trust is for. Now, all this money we're talking about here, I'm not quite sure how that relates. But yes, if you have a trust, your self-directed Roth IRA can own the property. You know, I need to put, matter of fact, I'm going to put Bubba's link. Darn, I didn't put that in there. Let me put Bubba's link in the video description so you guys can see her bracelets. She is doing some amazing things with this bracelets. Roundup, make sure you download your trust document packet. Today it will be 50% off only today only. It ends at midnight. Tiffany, I just closed on a multifamily house hack in August. Praise God. Good for you. Once I refinance it out of FHA loan, will I be able to put it in a trust? Also, will this trigger the due on sale clause? Tiffany, no, the Garden St. Germain, since you still own it, I would just transfer it out of the trust now. It doesn't matter. If you have to sign for a loan, you still have to personally guarantee the trust. I have a bank, right? My local bank, they don't care who's the title. Well, I'm sure they care, but they don't care that I have my houses in a trust, right? They just want me personally to sign for the loan. So Tiffany, if you sign it personally for that loan, they should be good. Will it trigger the due on sale clause? I have seen it. My mentors have seen it once or twice, all of them put together in the last 40, 50 years. Highly unusual. The due on sale clause means the bank may call the loan due. As long as you're making the payments, generally speaking, you'll be good. Edgar, Florida, what up? I'm about to roll over money for 1K. Oh, we went over that one. Will I still be able to put the house in the trust? Yes, absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. John Hollywood, what's up, buddy? Can I purchase the house in my name first, register the deed in the county office with my name? Oh, boy. Then transfer the property into your land trust, revocable trust, with your LLC as the beneficiary. You can do that, but here's the thing, John. That's a great question. Once you buy the house in your name, then transfer it down to your trust, you're in that chain of title, right? But it's still better than owning it in a trust. Now, great question. I would prefer you to be in the chain of title as to be on title, right? Because the credit, it's bound to happen, right? I wish I could show you these $60,000 to $80,000 of back child support that we're negotiating now for a seller that I'm trying to buy a house from. I'm like, dude, if you would have just put the house in a trust, we wouldn't even be having this conversation, right? I wouldn't even be having the conversation. Now I got to go deal with the child support agency. So yes, put it in your name, transfer it over. I would do that. That's cool. Ronald, how do you set up the trust? Well, Ronald, we went over all that. Ronald DeVell, good question. We went over all that, my friend. So that's right there. Ronald, you can just rewind this and see that. School me. What if the beneficiary gets a lawsuit? Well, if the beneficiary gets a lawsuit, which happened to me, it will not attach to said property because the beneficiary doesn't own the property, right? That's like saying Kris Haskins LLC owns this house. No. Kris Haskins LLC owns this trust, which owns the house, right? The trust owns the house. So the trust is on title, not my LLC, right? So if I get a lawsuit, so what? I've already had them. Has nothing to do with the ownership of that property. So if I get $1 million lawsuit against me, it will not attach to my real estate. Good question. James, can you have a mortgage and still put the house in a trust? You can, absolutely. Yep. The mortgage, don't forget, mortgages, ownership, money, ownership, they don't mix. Think about it like this, James. How many times has the lender transferred ownership from Bank of America to Wells Fargo to Union Bank to Regions Bank to 3/5 Bank, right? They sell those loans all the time. Do they let you know? Do they tell you, James? Absolutely not. Just like you could sell the ownership of that property, James Sandman could sell it to Chris Haskins, could sell it to Joe Johnson without even dealing. You don't even have to tell the bank, right? So they're not locked in. A house is the same house, whether you owe $1 million, it's the same house, whether it's free and clear, right? So just think about it like that. Money and houses, they don't mix. We have muddied it up in America, and just being human beings, we've tried to tie them together, but they are not locked together. You can sell either one of them independent of each other. I love that. Get your questions in, round up. Figaro, I have 3 houses. Good for you. All in my name. Oh, my Lord, my stomach. My stomach is cringing. Figaro, I'm coming for. Where you at? Where you at? You better not be in Hampton. I'm going. Figaro, you know I'm coming for you. What are the steps to get them in a trust and the cost? Well, it's going to cost you today. You're going to get a discount. If you get my docs, you're going to have that trust agreement, right? You're going to turn that into your attorney or title company. They're going to draft up the deeds. Boom, boom, boom. Each one of the houses will have their own trust. You're done. Go record it. Probably going to cost you, I don't know, $600 for all 3, I would say. But it's not the money, right, Figaro? It's the time and effort, life energy it takes to take a house that you already own out of your name and put it into a trust that you own. That is just, well, for me, it just takes hell of energy to do. I've only done it once, right? I got several others that I need to do that I'm just like, I need to get them out of my name. I know where you at, Figaro. I've been there. I'm still there, right? I got houses in my name. I mean, it's hard to do. I got it. How do you start setting up the trust? We went over that. Got to download it, fill it out. Now, I'm making this so simple for you, Figaro. Oh, no, that's Ricardo. Sorry about that. Is that Figaro or Ricardo? Figaro. I'm making this so simple for you, almost too simple. Because if you hire an attorney, they're going to ask you all these questions, and then they're going to go pull up Microsoft Word and put the information in. You can do all that before you even get to the attorney. And when they look at you, they're going to be like, what is this mess? You did all this before you got here? I'm trying to save you some money. That's my job. My mission is to have the ordinary people be able to understand this stuff. So when I leave planet Earth, this message will keep going. Okay. John, when I spoke to the lawyer about this, I was told to put the house in an irrevocable trust versus a land trust. Yes, if you live in a state that doesn't recognize land trust, you're going to use a grantor revocable trust. I don't know about an irrevocable. I don't know about that. I don't know anything about it. Irrevocable means you can't take it out. Here's the thing, John. The attorneys, they're going to help you do asset protection. I don't teach that. I'm not an attorney. So we just try to help you plan stuff, right? Yeah, I don't know too much about anything that's irrevocable. I'm nervous about that. I'm nervous. School me. What if the beneficiary gets a lawsuit? We went over that. Al, hey Al. The trustee, closing attorney, and the IRS know who the beneficiary are. Yes. Good point. Trustee's going to know, because you got to talk to the trustee in order to get them to closing, right? You got to say, hey, my trustee, we're closing at 2. Go sign the docs. Okay. Closing attorney, yes, they're going to be like, who the hell are you? Why are you showing up? Oh, okay, we got the land trust agreement here. Boom, boom, boom. Beneficiary told me to come. Got it. Bam. Close. And the IRS, when you do your tax returns, you're going to have to put your properties on Schedule E, roundup. You're not going to be, unless you keep your houses off your, I know some dudes are like, man, I don't want to depreciate them. I don't want to worry about writing off any interest. I don't even put my houses on the tax return. That's on you. I don't follow that, but stuff's crazy. I don't know about that. I don't know about that, but I gotta get my I don't know if I want to do that. That's going to be a toughie. Let's see what we got here. What's next? Get your questions in, round uppers. I'm honored to be able to work with you guys. Miss VSN, hey, how you doing? So the trustee's name is on the deed as noted as trustee, or did I hear you incorrectly? Nope, I'm gonna show you my deed, one of my deeds, right? Here you go. There's a copy of my deed right here. Did I do this right? Nope, always do that wrong. This deed of bargain and sale, you can see it right here. Made the 24th of April between the seller and, the grantor. It's a seller. Grantor, if you remember, guys, it's nothing but homeowner. Grantor, homeowner. And blank trustee of the 408 trust. So your trustee's name goes right here. I don't know why they do that. I'm still trying to, because before they would put just the name of the trust. All right, so this is what your deed is going to look like when you buy a house. Your name is nowhere, right? Own nothing, control everything. Phoebe, my boyfriend just kissed me. Is this you messing with us, Phoebe? We're talking about getting money. Andy, so the trustee has to be available for all changes. What if the trustee passes away? Good question, Andy. If the trustee passes away, then you are going to have to use the successor trustee document, hiring a new trustee, okay? But they don't, the only time they really have to sign is at closing. Anything else, rent, down payment, income, selling it, you get the checks. But no, they do have to come to closing when you sell. Andy, hey Andy, you guys put your state where you're coming in from. So the trust agreement has to be notarized. Absolutely. You're going to take it in, they'll notarize it. You want it to look, smell, and appear. See the air of legitimacy. You don't want anybody questioning the validity of your trust, right? So just get it notarized. That's a simple one there. JKLM fan. Good day, brother. Yes, I'm in the middle of a refinance of my owner-occupied 2-family. Cool. Could I put it in the trust while refinancing? Absolutely, you can. What I would do if I were you, I would get all that refinance stuff ready, have my deed ready to go into the trust right after that, or talk to the lender and ask them if they will allow you to refinance it and put it in the name of the trust that you are the beneficiary of, right? I would do that right now, JKLM fan. West Indy. Can you buy tax deeds and trust? What would be the best way to do that? I want to say yes, but we don't have tax deeds in Virginia, so I'm going to leave that one alone. But you can buy any house in a trust. It doesn't matter how you buy it. Tax deed. Let me see that trust. Well, the tax deed, if you're getting it, depends, because you're buying the deed, the back taxes, that lien. So you can't necessarily put it in the trust. Yeah, you don't own it. Yeah, you would have to own it first. I don't know. I'm gonna stay out of that one, West Indy. Trevor Graves, can you keep the trust under lock and key? Absolutely. The trust agreement goes in your file cabinet. And to this day, I haven't had anybody ask me to open up that file cabinet. You better not. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're not going to see my trust agreement. That's for me and my family only. All right. Great questions here, Roundup. Great questions. Joseph, how do we buy the other docs, the sub 2 docs? Just go to krishaskins.com. You can get everything, and you'll see my new landlord's guide to Section 8 housing is there too. Thank you for supporting my mission. I'm honored. You guys support your boy. You're supporting my mission. I would be nothing without you guys. I'd be nothing. I am nothing without y'all. I make this stuff. I create these products and services for you guys to help get you to point B or C or D or wherever you're looking to go. So thank you, Joseph. Just go to krishaskins.com to get all my other crazy training that probably when you go look at it, most people are going to be like, Joseph, you can't do that. You can't do that. How many times? I love it when people say, you can't do that. You know what? You can't do that. I don't even have time to talk to you about subject to or lease options or owner financings or owner financing or any of that stuff. I don't even have time. I'm gone. We're gonna make money, right, Joseph? We're making money. So Miss VSNC, so the trustee would be the one to refile the property, or would you as the owner? Trustee refinances. Yes, you as the owner. No, the trustee. Don't forget, Miss VSNC, you're not on title. You don't own the property, so you can't go out there. I'm gonna borrow $50,000 against this house. How? How can you borrow money against the house you do not own? Right. So the trustee is going to have to borrow the money on your behalf when the check comes to you. Right. That was a little fast. Let me slow down a little bit. Here's the house. I own the land trust. I'm the beneficiary to the house. The trust owns the house. How can I go out, borrow some money against this house if I do not own it, right? So the trustee is going to have to operate on behalf of this trust agreement with a fiduciary duty on my behalf of the beneficiary to do what I ask them to do in good faith, right? So yes, the trustee will do all that. J Equity Group, I have an Airbnb. Should that property be in a trust? Absolutely 100% yes. I'm going to say this again, 100% without exception. I used a land trust every time I buy, whether I'm wholesaling, buying subject to, getting a private loan, getting a bank loan, I'm buying contract for deed. Whatever it is, I'm using a land trust, period. You do not have to ask me that anymore. I promise you guys, I still get the question, but 100% of the time, without exception, we buy in a land trust, okay? Or a grantor revocable trust, whatever state you're in. Sire, did I say that right? I don't know. Can the trustee be one of the partners of the LLC? Yes. As long as they don't have your last name. I don't want that. Anthony Brown. Don't forget, if you, what is this? Siri or Siri? I hope you're staying in good standards with your LLC partners. I don't want them to go rogue on you. That's going to be a mess. Yeah, real mess. I don't know if I want that either. You know what I would want here? I would want a third party to be the trustee. And if it's two of you guys, both of you have to direct the trustee. So let's say you got, here's your trustee, right? You got 2-member LLC. Both of you have to direct the trustee. Therefore, one's mad at the other. Then the trustee isn't going to be like, well, let's sell the house. Well, I don't want to sell it. So you guys have to come together and talk to the trustee. I would want a third party to do that. Anthony, hey, great content. Thank you so much. Thank you. Can I elect someone to be the trustee and have them sign a resignation letter to be replaced by myself as the successor? Absolutely. You sure can. That would be a pretty smooth move, Anthony. That way they're on the deed, but you're the new title, the new trustee. I like that. So you learn something every day. So they're on the deed, but now you're like the sneaky brain doctor behind, mastermind, evil genius behind signing all the new stuff. But still, just keep it simple. You got more documents. You can layer this thing to the hills, Anthony. Layer it up. LLC, trustee, resignation, appointment of new successor trustee, assignment of beneficial interest. You can layer this thing up so much, then say you got 10, 20 of them. You're going to get in trouble when it's time to sell. Who are we going to write the check to? What happens if you get hit by a car, struck by lightning, crash die in a plane crash? I mean, it's so much layering, Anthony. I want you to keep it simple, okay? Sylvia, can you be both trustee and beneficiary? Yes, you can. But if we have Kris Haskins trustee and Kris Haskins beneficiary, it destroys my anonymity, right? Let me show you why. Who is that, Sylvia? Here's the deed, right? So say, for instance, I'm buying a house and I got, and here's my trustee, right? Trustee of the 408 trust is buying this house here. If I got Kris Haskins, trustee of the 408 trust, then my name is on public record and my mailing address, right? So I don't necessarily know if I want you to do that. You can do that, but you can also build a house with a hammer, but I don't necessarily want you doing it, but yes, you can, okay? Kevin, do I sign my personal name managing member? Absolutely. You're Kris Haskins, like I'm Kris Haskins, comma, there you go. It's amazing how the English language, these dudes, you got to think about this. The wealthy people, you know what wealthy people did back in the day? They tried to set up all these rules so they could keep the wealth, right? But something that I love called wealth distribution, distributing wealth, right? That's where we come in. No, we ain't finna hear all that. So You try to keep it all, but we still have to play by their rules. That comma takes you off the hook personally, puts you on the hook, and the capacity for that trust, right? So Kris Haskins, president, Kris Haskins, vice president, CEO, managing member, trustee, only in the capacity. Oh man, wealth redistribution. I love it. Prop nice. Who's still on the record? Who's still on record? The old trustee? Yep. Or you can always do a corrective deed if you got a new trustee. No biggie. Prosper by divine design. Can the person I asked to be my trustee charge me? Yes, absolutely. If you rewind, you see we paid the trustee $100. And if you don't know anybody, you don't trust anybody, which is a lot of people out there I'm noticing, we do have a trustee service for you. You just email us the docs. We'll get them notarized and FedEx them to you. Trevor, can't you use your lawyer? Yes, but what I've seen is most lawyers won't do it. They don't want to do the closing and be the trustee. Kind of like muddies it up. But yes, you can. You can do that. Scooby, what if the beneficiary gets a lawsuit? We went over that. Beneficiary doesn't matter. Doesn't attach to the trust property, right? Doesn't attach. LR, Florida. Hey, Florida. I know it's beautiful down there. 75. If it's your home, how can you go about the mortgage? Don't forget, mortgage, ownership, they don't go together. You can transfer ownership 1,000,000 times and keep that loan in place, okay? And round up, while we're doing this, make sure you download your land trust document packet. It's in the video description below. You get all these docs that we went over during this training, and you can rewind it and go over it. Shay Bay, can the trustee be a child? That I don't know. I think they have to be 18 years or older. I'm not sure. Sylvia, can I put my current home in the trust? Absolutely. It's going to be infinitely harder, like I mentioned, but yes, you can. You absolutely can. It's so much harder to put them in a trust after you own them. It's so hard. Earl McDowell's, the golden, what is it? The golden arches? Golden arcs. Are land trusts more for privacy or asset protection? Great question, Earl. Land trusts are more for privacy. I don't deal with asset protection. Here's the thing. The beneficiary owns the trust, right? The beneficiary is your LLC. That's where your, oops, darn, cut that all off. LLC. This is where your asset protection starts to come in. I'm not teaching that. I don't teach that. I'm not an attorney. I'm talking about privacy. So you own the trust agreement that owns the house, beneficiary. This is where, see, land trust asset protection is layers. Deed, beneficiary, LLC members, and once again, Earl, you can layer this thing, you can layer your way up out of here. You got to unwind it when it's time to sell, right? Let's say, for instance, I know some people, they're like, Kris, I want a new LLC for every property. Why would you want to do that? Say you got 50 houses. You got to get a new LLC every house, right? Then you got to pay filing fees every year. You got to have a registered agent, mailing address. I mean, it could just get crazy, right? So if you just have the trust agreement, right, the land trust agreement, then you got one LLC that owns rental property. You're done. You're done, right? Gates. I'm the beneficiary of the trust, but I want to cash out refi. Who refis, the trustee, or do I assign myself as the new trustee, refi, then assign a new one? Your trustee. This person here signs all the loan docs. Very simple. Then the bank may want you to sign a guarantee. So just keep that in mind. Most lenders want you to at least, so the trustee will sign most of the docs, but then the lender will probably ask you to sign a personal guarantee before you get out of there. Alex, this is recorded, right? Yes, but it will not be up forever. Prosper by divine design. Did you do a subject to and move in it? Absolutely. Well, maybe one day I'll show you my deed. But we live in a subject to house. Tiffany, you're welcome. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much, Tiffany, for supporting my mission here. DJ Bugsy, when wholesaling, should I create the trust prior to seller signing the purchase and sale contract, or would I create trust prior to opening escrow after they sign? Great question. So let's say you got a house under contract. House under contract, right? So what you're going to do is after that, you're going to create the trust in your mind, right? 123, let's say it's 123 Main Street. DJ Bugsy Digital. Why y'all tongue twisting me in all these these names? It's a great question. Got the house, so you lock it up. It's 123 Main Street, right? You put 123 Main Street on that contract, you're the buyer. I'm sorry, 123 Trust. There we go. I'm sorry about that, DJ Bugsy Digital. So you don't have the trust yet, right? You're not just having all these trusts in your mind. You don't have all these trusts created. So mentally, you're going to create the trust, right? What's wrong with my stupid thing? Bam. Did that work? Okay. The camera looks blurry. So mentally, you create the trust, right? After the seller signs, then you fill out the trust agreement, making your trustee, because you already know who's going to be the trustee, right? Then you create the trust and you turn in, when you go to escrow, you turn in that contract and you turn in the land trust agreement, or you will have to change the name to what is a grantor revocable trust. I don't live in a state that accepts that, but depends on what state you're in. Just change the name. Hope they got insurance. Who is that? DeAndre, every title company say they can only put in the name of the trustee or the name of the trust. How do I make them out in the name of my LLC? In Florida, yes, you are a land trust state. Title company says they can only put it in the name of the trustee or the name of the trust. How can I make them out in the name? You need to, oh man, if they can put it in the name of the, see, the good thing about what you're telling me, if they only put it in the name of the trust, that's great. Leave it alone. Let them do it. Because I would like to have my properties into 123 Trust without the trustee's name on it. Man, if you have a title company or attorney that will do that, man, do that. Do that. Al, Massachusetts, MA. What's the wording and process to receive rents, assignment fees, etc. in the beneficiary's name and not in the trust name? Attorneys have said the trust needs a TIN bank. Yeah, they do. You know what? Unfortunately, some attorneys are going to ask you to do that. In that instance, when they rents, I just have a rent in our company name. So your tenant doesn't care who owns the property. You can just be the landlord, property manager. Attorneys said that, some attorneys are going to ask for that, right? But what we do is when we sell a property where the attorney asks for a bank account or a TIN number, which is ludicrous. That's a number for a trust, which is ridiculous. We have a document, right? We just have the closing check made out to our title company, and then the title company will transfer it over to the beneficiary. Remember that, Al. Just tell your title company to say, listen, I'm accepting the closing funds on behalf of the beneficiary, and then the title company can transfer. What they can change that money over to you, right? Transfer the money. That's the word. Good gracious. Transfer the money over to you. Al, is a W-9 required from beneficiary at closing? Yes, you are going to. Yes, my friend. Alabama. School me. What happens if you lose the document for the trust? You in trouble. School me. Here's the thing. Don't lose the documents for the trust. Okay. School me. You better not. You don't. Yeah, I don't even know. You're in trouble with that. Star. What if the trustee gets a lawsuit against them? Can your property be brought into it? No. I have been privy to lawsuits. Like, I used to be the trustee for my mentor before we had a huge falling out. He got sued. They called me in to court, and I stood up. I showed the judge my trust agreement, and I was just the trustee, and they dismissed me. So the trustee has no liability, zero liability when it comes to the trust property, okay? Prosper, you may have covered this. Does each subject to property have its own trust, or it's on a separate trust? Absolutely. Every house you do has its own trust. So now that you have the trust agreement, you can just print it out, change it out. 123 Trust, the 4785 Trust, the 6721 Trust. You have these docs, right? So you can print it out. Every house gets its own every house gets its own trust. Indy, irrevocable has other benefits. Yes. Need real estate attorney who does asset protection. Yeah, I don't know about that, but that's above my pay grade on that. When taking over subject to, how is the insurance set up? New policy or amend current policy? It's all depends how you do it. We could get real deep into that. Like where I live, I have a policy that I kept in my seller's name, and I have a policy that we have here in our name. I just wanted to keep that. If my house catches on fire, I'll just claim the one that I have, and I'll just keep paying on both of them. That's one way. Another way is you can just add your name. You have the power of attorney, right, which comes with the subject to documents. So you can get a new policy or add your name to the existing one. I don't know. That's up to you. I don't want to. You can do it however you see fit. A lot of times I get a new policy. I just get a new policy because you got the power of attorney. You can get it in the seller's name and add you or put both of y'all on it. It's up to you. Trevor, won't it be better to use your lawyer as the trustee? That's all up to you, my friend. School me. If it's in my name, what doc do I use? If your house is in your name and you want to transfer it to a trust, take the land trust agreement to the title company. Let them create the deed for you. Okay. Oh, Ryan, what up? Man, I got to get up with you. What's up, dog? Thank you for reminding me, Ryan. Let's do that, man. I will reach out to you after this broadcast. I need to talk to you, brother. Thank you for doing that. Prosper. Hello, Chris. Are all forms for subject to real estate written with the same lingo? Is my pack? I don't know what's another stuff. Let me tell you about my forms. My forms, I'm not saying they're better or worse. It's going to be hard to get an attorney to craft this stuff because they don't want to be on the hook. My forms are just taking different pieces, we call it research, from different pieces from different subject to courses and different other investors that I've known since 2004, right? Take a piece here, piece there. That bankruptcy one, I haven't seen that one other than the one that I got from Conti. Peter Conti, the monster. So I don't know what's another stuff, but generally speaking, those disclosures got to be tight. Frank, Nelly, yes, if you're a primary residence, you can claim homestead. Yep, I would say you could. If it's on your tax returns, shit, that's where you live. Miss VSNC, at what point do you put property bought at a tax sale into a trust? At closing. I think you're in VA. You put it into the trust at closing. Even when we're at the courthouse steps buying foreclosures. A lot of times the attorney, when you sign the name, when you sign Kris Haskins, they're going to put your name on the contract. But did you know, Miss VSNC, you can always assign, before you go to closing, if the contract is in your name, you can always assign it to your trust before closing, okay, for $0. If you have a purchase and sale agreements before you get to closing, just do an assignment addendum and transfer that property over to the 123 trust. Okay. Menard, yes, thank you for the thumbs up. Hey, yeah, I forgot, Roundup, please give me a thumbs up. If your boy's working for you, give us a thumbs up. I'm here for you. I am here to serve. I'm here to serve you. Andy, I'm Callie. Do I have to have an attorney at the house when closing, or is it better to do it at their office? You better not be closing these deals at somebody's house, at grandma's house. You can get in trouble doing that. Have them come in, especially in Cali, where you got so much at stake in Cali. I mean, you got so much at stake. You better be going to a title company. Yeah, I would definitely recommend you going to escrow out there. Escrow, Andy. Roundup, make sure you get your document packet below. It's half off for today. The sale ends today. All right, get your docs, get this stuff set up. Nice. When you sell the trust, does the trustee transfer with it? Absolutely. But here's the thing: when you sell that trust, right, the new owners, the new beneficiaries can fire the trustee, put a new one in place. No biggie. Pastor Kenneth, hey, Kenneth, I just met these guys today. They're good people. How many properties and houses can you have in one trust, or do they have to be multiple trusts? Brother Kenneth, one house, one trust. One house, one trust. Now that you have the trust agreement, you can print out as many as you want. Boom, 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 boom. One house, one trust, my friend. So you buy a house, put it in the trust, put the document in the trust agreement goes into your file cabinet. Buying a new house, get the trust agreement, pull it up on your computer, type in the new stuff, turn it into the title company, boom, you're done. They'll do a new deed, move on to the next one. Good question. Andy, are title companies the best place to find a real estate attorney? I don't know about the best, but that is a good place to start. See, the problem with attorneys, you don't know if they're going to approve this stuff. Good gosh, how many attorneys tell me you can't do this? You can't do a trust. You can't do that. You can't wholesale. You can't buy a house subject to and keep the loan in the seller's name. Attorneys, do we have to have them? Don't get me started. I mean, I just met with Kenneth. He got an attorney dragging his feet. This dude is just. I love you, attorneys, but you guys gotta prop nice. So the trustee credit needs to be in order. Trustee credit. No, the trustee has no credit on the line. The only credit that's on the line is the beneficiary. Remember, the trustee is nothing but an employee. The trustee is an employee. Repeat after me, prop nice. The trustee is an employee. All they do is what you ask them to do and direct them to do. Okay, Tiffany, Kris, so the trustee will need to have decent credit to lock in a good refinance rate. Absolutely not. We just talked about that just the last question. Tiffany, the trustee is your employee. Okay, the beneficiary is the one that's going to have the credit on the line. All right. School me, if I have a HELOC and then put it in a trust, will the bank cancel my HELOC loan? I don't see why not. You never know what banks are going to do, but the bank won't even know you transferred title, school me, unless you go in there and tell them. I've done it. Andy in Cali, are you putting sub-2 docs on sale? No, we're not doing that this week, Andy. Sorry about that. Man, you guys are pushing me to the max. James, so if I sell the trust, you're selling your trust, all you have to do is change the beneficiary and the taxes will be transferred to the new owner or beneficiary. No, it won't be transferred. You will have to set all that up on your tax returns, okay? Now, I think you're talking about, let me rewind, real estate taxes. So you're gonna have to change the address, because I would do a corrective deed, putting a new deed on there, because you want the tax bill to come to you now, but you have to, all that stuff, transferring title in a trust, you don't even have to have a closing. No, there are no taxes per se regarding recording fees and stuff, but you will have to put that stuff on your tax returns. It is a taxable event, right? It's just not something that most people are used to doing. So what was that question? Transfer, yeah, the new taxes, all that stuff goes to the new beneficiary. Sorry, it's two of us, my fiance. Okay. I don't know. And that makes me even more leery. You're not married yet. And you know I love you. I'm saying this lovingly. I would hire a third person. I think you're talking about one of you guys being the trustee. I would hire a third person, somebody that's acquainted with both of y'all, and you could say, listen, both of us have to agree on what we're doing, right? That way the trustee can listen to you. All right, one person's mad, one person wants to sell, one person wants to keep the house. I don't know. Y'all need to work on that before y'all call me up. Don't holler at me till you got that straight. School me, can I put my car in a trust? Yes, but not in a land trust. Land trusts are only for real property. You're gonna have to use something called a paper trust. I probably need to start teaching that. I need to learn more about that first. Andy, out in Cali, Kris, I love how you simplify this stuff. Can't watch it. Praise God. Thank you so much. Thank you. Gearing up for my first sub-2. Might need some consultation. Okay. If you need a consultation, I don't have a link for that. We do that. I do that personally myself. So you'll have to email me, and you can get my email address on my website. King Smokey Brown. At the moment, we are renting. The owner is trying to sell the property. What would be the best deal to do to get the property in a trust? If they're selling the property, you have to ask them, are they selling for cash? Man, Smokey, is so much I can talk to you about. If they owe 100, they're selling it for 110. I would ask them, can I give you 10,000 and take over the payments? You know, there's so many ways. I have no idea. I need to know so much more about that. Sharu, what's the best place to keep your hard copy documents? I have a file cabinet that I keep right there. Let's see if I can show you. I got a file cabinet right there that I keep my stuff in. All right. So if I were you, just put it in the file cabinet and it's over. Done. If it catches on fire, you're in trouble. Maybe I should do that too. I need to probably do digital copies of my stuff just in case there's a fire, right? That's a good point, Sharu. Oshrik, can you move a personal property into a land trust that is bought by your LLC. So that property is off your credit and you pay your LLC the mortgage. I don't know too much about personal property. This is for real property, Oshric. Nelly, Frankie buys houses. Okay, cool. Prosper by divine design. So it's each house gets its own trust. Yes. Same or different trustee? I use the same. I have a few trustees that I use. You know, when you get so much, you don't want to have the same trustee on all the stuff, right? But yes, one LLC. So I need to do better with I need to do better with this. But if you have your long-term hold LLC and then your flip LLC, okay? But yes, trustee, I have a few guys that I use. I don't want to have everything under one guy, just in case he does get hit by a bus, you know? Good point. Prosper by divine design. Divine design. AJ, why do people have holding companies? Do we need a holding company? I actually don't know what a holding company is. I don't know if that's just a name that they call. I don't know. I do not know. Prosper by divine design. Where is the CYA form in the packet? Cover your assets. We call it the CYS, cover yourself. That is the disclosures that let the seller know exactly. Round up what she's talking about is in a subject to the existing loan transaction. Prosper by divine design. You're pulling me. You're pulling me away from trust. You're pulling. So CYA, that's all that does is let the seller know exactly what's going on. This loan is going to stay in your name. I don't promise to bring it current. I don't even promise to make the payments. You can't file bankruptcy. You will not contact the bank to blab your lips. I can't remember exactly what's in there, but that's kind of the overall gist of the CYA letter. You got to have it. AJ, if I sell the trust, can I just sign the beneficial rights to avoid closing costs? Yes, AJ. Now you're getting it. Oh, man, I love that. That's exactly what we do. AJ, you're going to sell this trust to the beneficiary just sells his interest over to another LLC or another person. No closing costs because what? The 123 trust still owns the property, okay? So you can sell that beneficiary and you're done. Zero closing costs. Now you are going to have to pay. You got to holler at the IRS, but no closing costs, no recording fees, no D.prep, none of that stuff. School me. If you're going to wholesale a property on the purchase agreement for the buyer name, do I fill it out in the trust? Yes, we went over that one. Good question. Yes, trust. 100% without exception. We always use the trust, whether you buy it or not. Prosper by design. So do you suggest using the same trustee for each trust agreement, but one LLC? That's fine. I don't know what volume you're doing. If you got 100 houses, I wouldn't want one trustee on them all. You know, you're doing a few houses a year. One trustee is fine. Once again, I have 2 or 3 people that I use. 2 or 3. Yeah, I got 2 or 3 guys. I just rotate them. I'm amazingly paid. Well, thank you. Thank you, Prosper. You know, I love you. I love the people. Why? I am the people. I came from nothing trying to figure this real estate thing out. What do you mean I can buy a house without putting it in my name or my company name? Tell me a little bit more. It took me 3 years, y'all. 3 years to figure out this stuff. Not only learn it, but deploying it. The big part about this, after you watch this video, you're going to say, Chris, yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do it in trust. You ain't going to do it. You ain't going to do it. You're going to go and divert back to what you have been doing, putting it in your name or in your LLC. Seen it a million times. So I have to come out there and shake you a little bit to help you put it in a land trust. I wish I could be at every closing to make sure you're putting your property in a trust. Please give me a thumbs up, y'all, and make sure you subscribe too. Talax, can you seller finance on a land trust? Absolutely. So you're going to own a finance, the trust will be out of your name. What I would do if I own, let me see, I don't recommend, neither do I do owner financing. You're taking the deed out of your name, Talax. I don't want you taking the deed out of your name because you lose your right. You lose all your tax benefits, a whole bunch of stuff you lose, right? If you leave it in your name, you can still lease option it. But yeah, you can't sell a finance to somebody else in the trust if you want to do that. Ashrik, I meant personal property as your personal home and not rental property. Oh, absolutely. Moving the personal home into a land trust that is bought by your LLC. Absolutely. You're talking about, let's see, Ashrik, you're getting advanced level stuff. Man, you can move it over to an LLC that you own, move the trustee over. You're talking about if you want to refinance it, pull some money out. If one LLC is stronger than the other, so many things you can do. Yeah. And you don't even have to change the title. Don't even have to change the title. Prosper, I've been watching videos of Ron. Okay, yeah, Ron, that's my boy. I remember when Ron gave me a cell phone number. He says, Kris, you give this number out, you die. So it's an honor to have multi-millionaires like Ron, Grumpy Ron LeGrand in your phone, right? Like the more players' phone numbers I get in my phone, it's almost like I get to level up. Get level up. AJ, can you talk about if someone sues your beneficiary? In your previous trust class, you said switch the LLC to another. Well, if you sue, here's the thing. If you get sued, if your LLC gets sued, I don't even know why. Because your LLC, all it does is own property. So you should have insurance. I've got hazard insurance as well as $1 million umbrella policy, right? That'll cover me for a lawsuit. But if you get sued, so your LLC, okay, so you want to know about AJ. I'm not an attorney, but if you get sued, your beneficiary is not on title, AJ. So, I don't know. You don't have anything to worry about regarding transferring ownership in real estate. That's all I'm dealing with today. Now, you got other stuff you need to deal with regarding your credit and judgments and all that stuff. They don't go away. They just don't get attached to the real estate, my friend. And that's the biggest thing, right? The main problem. People get houses, they get a judgment attached to the real estate. You're done. You're done. You can't sell it. So that's the main thing that I want to stress to you. I don't want you, I promise you, man, people call me, I feel for them. I'm a high I, right? On the disc analysis. I'm a high I. One guy got $20,000 judgment. What can I do, Kris? It's nothing you can do. Once the judgment comes down the pipeline, you're done. You're done. Siri, thank you, Kris. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm honored to serve. It's an honor. It's an honor putting all this stuff together since 2004. Talix, so lease option, the land trust instead of owner financing. Absolutely. Unless you're in Texas. So we buy the property in a trust, lease option it out, get your down payment, monthly payment. You still have ownership of the property, right? As opposed to owner financing where you get a down payment and you give them ownership of the property. I wouldn't do that. Or you either do lease option or do, land contract. And you can go back through my channel and see how my mentor, Scott Jelinek does all that. Prop nice. If I sell my interest in the trust, it's going to be the beneficiary. What's the next steps to switch property taxes to new owner? So that's right, because your deed stays on file, right, at the courthouse. So you could just do a corrective deed of correction, or have the title company do a new deed. It's going to cost you maybe $100 to record a new deed. No big deal. Get a new deed with the new trustee and the new mailing address. There you go. DeAndre, can I just buy your documents that fires the trustee? I already have the trust agreement. I don't know. I guess you could, my friend. Yeah, you could. Just let me know. You can send us an email. How do you fire the trustee if you end up on bad terms with them? We went over that. That is the successor replacement document. Successor. Oh, I forgot the name of it. Appointment of land trust replacement trustee. Yep, you got that. You got to have that. Fire him. Get rid of him. King Smokey. Thank you, Kris. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Make sure you give us a thumbs up. That's how you can repay us. Give us a thumbs up, please. Andy, is a sub 2 and wrap the same thing? No. Subject 2 is when you buy the house and you keep making the seller's loan payments. Wrap it. Matter of fact, I'll do a video on that. I'll do a video. Wrap is where the loan goes on top of that existing loan. Now, they kind of go together when you're doing this stuff, but subject 2 and wrap, two different moves. You got to get that down. Prosper, do you have a video on proper insurance and how to locate motivated sellers? Now, we use Facebook for our marketing now. The insurance, I do not. That's going to be something an insurance broker would do. AJ, what I mean, if we're renting using our LLC, what if their lawyer wants to sue the LLC, which is the beneficiary, and the trust to find out who the owner is? Yes, you will have to. Now, that's when you're going to have to hire an attorney. If they hire an attorney, you're going to need one too, because they're willing to spend some money to come after you. Don't forget, the land trust is simply for anonymity. We want to be anonymous. But if they hire an attorney to come after you, you're going to have to fight back with that, okay? Yeah, if the LLC, which is the beneficiary. But still, if you're renting using our LLC, doesn't matter. None of this stuff attaches to the house, AJ. None of it. What is the name of the book you were holding in the beginning? The blue one. I don't have a blue one. I got the green one. Oh, damn, look green. Look, it's green, but it looks blue. This is the Barron's Guide. Just go to krishaskins.com. I get a small referral fee out of this stuff. The Barron's Guide, you'll see it there, the real estate dictionary of terms. Barron's. It's right there. You can support my channel, all the research we've done for you. Go to Chris's suggested reading, and it'll be right there. Alex, appreciate that nugget. We made it. Damn, 2 hours later. We made it, y'all. We made it. We made it. Congratulations, y'all. We made it. So listen, if you want to learn all this stuff, you can download the docs. Use the coupon code TRUST in the video description below. The coupon, once again, I like to support people that support us. You get half off for today only. Get this stuff set up. You ain't going to do it. You ain't going to do it. You can go put it in your LLC just like you've been doing. Okay? Give it a try. See how simple it is. I was the same way. Took me years to deploy this strategy. After we did it one time, boom. I set the record for myself. I set the mantra, the bar, right? No more deeds or titles in my name or my company name. And you can do the same thing, okay? So listen, I've got some other questions coming in. Good Lord. Thanks for sharing your purpose. Oh, that's cool. Yes, yes. Blessings. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and we have some great training coming for you next week. I've got a multifamily house guy that's going to be doing some training. He's going to be doing a challenge, all right? So get this stuff, get it down. Land trust agreement, stop putting houses in your name and your company name. Set this stuff up. Now you understand. And once again, don't be mad at yourself if you can't get it all right now, because it's a lot of moving parts. Anybody wants to send me an email, just go to krishaskins.com, and hit the contact us button. Okay, Roundup. Listen, I love you. I'll see you guys soon. Wow, wait, 2 hours. Talk to you. Peace. Oh, yeah, support Bubba's bracelets. Her bracelets are, I'll put the link in the